he did blow it at
Yeah,
what's it
at
called?
Jersey.
In Jersey, yeah. I think we're live, maybe. Yes,
Yep,
possibly. Could be. Got Eric,
we
you got
are
Caleb. What's up,
we
guys?
are live.
Just working out a couple kinks right now on the old stream. Got a couple people that are probably going to be jumping in as we get things rolling. But welcome to this is episode like 53 or something like that of the show. Herbie is in a state of moving, sort of. So exciting thing for him. So we'll see what he's up to possibly. You got TSH Auto. Good to see you, buddy. In terms of my weekend, though, it was a great weekend. I actually drove myself, and it was a nice change up, right? Instead of standing behind a camera and what do you? Oh my gosh,
What's happening?
Carlos is
Being
Carlos
a
just
boomer?
messaged me. And he's like, I haven't got the link. Well, I'm like, dude, I sent it. Maybe he has two Instagrams.
Yeah,
He has two
maybe.
Instagrams.
There we go.
I was
Oh,
like, I sent it to, I sent it to you, but it
come
must have
on.
been the famous Instagram that Carlos has.
Yeah. What
Uh,
did I do this weekend? I didn't do much. Oh, I went karting. I went to Atlanta Motorsports Park. I went karting. I think I'm gonna get into karting. I had a lot of fun.
I mean,
I
it's
like
cheaper
going.
than drifting, probably.
Yeah, going fast around corners is pretty fun. There's some absolute asshole of a driver. They kept moving me in corners, and that pissed me off. But it drove me to be better. So that was fun.
All right, sorry, Carlos. I sent you the thing. I told you it was gonna come from my other account because I don't have my account on the old computer.
We're
So
professionals, I swear. Is that
I
new
know, dude.
hat? New
I thought
hat?
it. I saw. Yeah. We go live and he messaged me. He's like, "Dude, I haven't gotten the link. What do you mean? I said it like 30 minutes ago."
That new hat though? New DDM hat?
Yeah, they
You know what I'm looking
should
at?
be. I haven't talked to Corey, but they should be bringing a bunch to St. Louis, maybe, assuming
Oh yeah.
he remembers. But yeah, this is kind of like the final rendition of them. It's got
I
the
like it.
full word mark, and then like the on the sides, it's got the little.
Yeah, a little DDM. I like how there's more color to it. I see the other one in your corner under your Mac.
Yeah, that was like a prototype, and I mean it looks fine. It looks good actually,
Yeah.
but um, I thought it was a little in your face.
Yeah, I like it. It's very good. Very nice.
But yeah, we'll get Carlos in here because I know he loves to talk about all the shit that's going on. And we'll get his opinions before we get rolling into the actual show. Almost died running my buddy's shifter cart when I was a teenager. Well,
What it's
maybe
all about, dude.
yeah.
That's what it's all about. They weren't shifter carts, but they were nice carts. I did 3 sessions. One session, my steering wheel was like 15 degrees higher on one side than the other. It's the driver I was talking about earlier. They bumped me in the back, and I did a little jiggy with the hands, and I like fucked my index finger up because it
Oh my
like
gosh.
slammed up against the plastic bit because of like how the steering wheel was all fucked up. So that was fun. That thing understeered real nicely. Just didn't go around corners. It was awesome.
Yeah, you had to chuck it
Yeah.
in, is what you're saying.
Had to chuck it in. But yeah. And then my last session, my cart ran out of gas. So that
Oh,
was fun.
how
That was like it's like 36 bucks. Nah, it's like 88 bucks for 3 sessions. So it was like I was sitting there for like 3 minutes. They're 8 minute sessions. That's like 15 bucks out the window, just
wow.
sitting there. Man. Then the session before that, some dude spun out in front of me, and I had nowhere to go because I wanted to go wide, and someone was on my inside because it's like a 90-degree hairpin. I
Yeah.
want to take a V line, and then so I just spun next to him, and then my cart just like turned off. I'm like, I fucking hate this. And then it was some puny little guy. God bless his soul. He had to be like at least 100 pounds dry, and he was like 5'10", and he was just like trying to because it was like cart with like essentially a lawnmower engine, and he was like cranking it, but it wasn't like a lot of force. It was just very slow because it was a weak, skinny guy. I'm like, I'm not gonna. Here's another $10. So it is what it is.
It is what it is. I need to understand Carlos's Instagrams here because he's got two, and I'm like, well, what one do I use? You know, it's like one's like his burner account. But yeah, he should be getting in here eventually. I mean, he sent me a message, so and he's seen the message, so I'm just waiting for a message back saying, "Hey, I can't figure it out."
Uh, he's
Yeah,
getting old, so things are difficult for the guy.
I know.
Mm.
Oh man, but yeah, St. Louis. For those of you that don't know, St. Louis is this weekend. Probably my least favorite track of the year. I think most people's least favorite track of the year. And I mean, spectating wise, I don't know if it's like it's probably a pretty decent one to spectate though because do see everything. But it's like
I've never been. This is gonna be my first one.
really you've
So
never been to St. Louis, huh?
no, I've always like arrive at 9:40. It's I don't know. It's just things have never lined up for it, and this year's been the first year. So whatever, I guess.
Yeah. Sorry, message. Yeah, of course I got the message. Hey, it's not working on my phone or whatever.
There we
So
go.
yeah,
There
I
we
gotta
go.
gotta tell them how to do it.
Lock in. Lock in. What are we doing? Currently checking into my flight. There we are. Wow, the
Come on, Carlos. There he is.
he's here.
There he
Can you hear me?
is.
We got
Yeah,
the
we.
two beds in the back too.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I got a sleeping Dylan in the background too.
There we go.
What's up, buddy? Are you able to flip it on its side, or is that just how it's gonna be?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah,
Let's
that'll
try
work.
that. Does that look better?
Yeah, looks good, buddy.
There we go.
Hell yeah. All right.
All right.
First question: what's the deal with your Instagrams? What's going on? I'm so confused.
Dude, I'm confused too. So I only have one account. That other one is a guy Alessio. He used to help me on the team. He's like a really good friend of mine, and he's always been like, dude, you need to make like these things need to be reels. These things need to be reels, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, but anyway, so he made that whole thing. I don't even have a login
Okay.
for it, so that's what that is, man. Yeah, yeah, fucking
Oh,
Alessio.
Funny.
that's funny.
Yeah,
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. But yeah, welcome, buddy. It sounds like you guys have made
thanks.
it to St. Louis in one piece.
Yeah. We're actually in it's Springfield, so we have this obligation with O'Reilly. We always go to their headquarters like the day before. Well, actually, we're going tomorrow, which is setup day. But anyways, Dylan goes and does like an activation there and just talks to all the higher ups and so we go to that, and then we'll come back to St. Louis. We backtracked. We drove right through the track, and then came another 3 hours this way, and now we're coming back tomorrow. So
Hell yeah, dude. All right, for those who
yeah,
don't know,
Yeah.
who guys who haven't met Carlos, just a quick 2 minute brief on who you are, or like at least what you're doing.
2 minutes. Yeah. I'm Dylan's crew chief. I have been for the past. This is my third season with him now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I work on the car. It's a full-time gig for me, which is pretty crazy. I'm a very lucky person. I'm like one of, I'd say probably six people that can say they do this as a full-time job.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's awesome. I did before Dylan, I worked with Odie Bakshis for 3 years as well.
yeah,
Same thing. I was his full-time mechanic as well. And then before that, I did like 2.5 years with IMR, which was Alex Hilbrun. He used
yeah.
to compete in
Mm-hmm.
FD before that. Um, So that it was more of a part time because at the time I was going to school to be
Right.
a high school counselor and all that bullshit. But fuck all that, dude.
Wow,
I'm a fucking
what a
mechanic, dude.
career!
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah,
Hell yeah, dude. Well, so now people know if you say something, you kind of at least understand a little bit about what you're talking about. It's not you've seen a
yeah,
thing or two. In
yeah, yeah.
the but this is the show about St. Louis. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about the pro side of St. Louis this year. But just getting your overall thoughts so far. Halfway through the season, though, I guess I can pull up the standings. I'm just kind of curious your thoughts. If obviously you got Dylan right there, but like
Yeah.
any other drivers that you've been impressed by, or who's someone that's like has had a good year for you in your
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, there's a couple, man. There's a couple of guys that are moving up in a good way, of course. Hero Manoa is the one that stands out for sure. He seems to just have hit the floor running, and he's doing great, and he's been doing great. I mean, he's a talented guy. Um, but Brandon Sorensen, he took us out in Orlando, and that was impressive. He's been driving really well, and he always has been. I think his bigger thing has been the car. He's always got to kind of he's battling something. I mean, even in the battle with us, his alternator was actually out. So he like shut off his lights and we knew something was up, but we don't play games like that. So we just sort of like let's make this run as quick as possible. And then he beat us straight up. I mean, he's a really good driver. He drives a lot. And I think Connor Shanahan being there, in his ear also helps a ton. And drifting, that's what it's really about is drivers talking to one another. I mean, with in the OD days, him and Matt Field that's huge too. It's
Right.
just you're advancing twice as fast because you have someone else to give you feedback and let you know what you're doing right and wrong. So yeah, those two guys to me stand out a ton. There's a couple of other guys as well,
That's
but
cool.
that's if you're asking me, that's what I say. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I
Who do
mean,
you guys stand out?
well, for me, it's the prospect guys that have moved up to pro. I really feel like they've been competitive. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, hundred
they've all
percent.
had their moments to shine. But I mean, obviously, you got Connor O'Sully making
yeah.
what was it? Was it top four or top eight last
Yeah,
round?
top four.
Top
Top
four. That's
four,
right.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
crazy.
completely forgot about my boy, but yeah, Connor O'Sully is something else, man. And it's funny. I was talking to Andrew Kate. He's his crew chief, and I was just telling him, I was like, I'm so glad this result finally shows the effort you guys have been putting in because they've been very prepared. They are a team that came into pro, and I knew it's like these guys know what they're doing. It's not. You see a lot of the prospect guys that kind of get pushed into pro because they feel like they'll lose their license or whatever, which is the wrong mindset to have. But some people have to do it, and Connor O'Sully is definitely a guy that can back up his preparation. So finally, he was able to show for it. We ran into him in top 32 in Atlanta. So
Yeah.
it was kind of crappy because I was like I want him to win, but at the same time it's like well we have a job to do too.
Right.
So he honestly he beat himself in that round. He initiated behind us and he biffed it. I mean
Yep.
Jack Shanahan did the same thing and
Yeah.
Jack
Yep.
Shanahan's an amazing driver as well. So no hard
Right.
feelings there,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's a very good competitive driver, and his car is very well built. So yeah, he's definitely someone to look out for.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like he didn't even. I think it was Orlando. He didn't even qualify for the main event. You know.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Again, exactly.
So true.
He went to Tommy Lemaire, right? I think it was
Yeah.
him and Tommy Lemaire in the seating, which another. It's like Tommy Lemaire's also got some. He's a good driver as well, for sure.
Well, the interesting thing with Tommy is he's campaigning a chassis that has not been proven yet.
Yeah,
For the
yeah.
most part, it's close to a C6, but it's not a C6.
It's not nah.
So it's
Yeah,
so it's been interesting to watch him because he was an animal in that S15 he was driving. So
Yep.
it's been really interesting to see just progressions of that new car as well. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into the actual bracket. I think you guys can see it on your screen.
Yeah.
It might be a little small for you, Carlos, but
I can see it. No worries.
cool. This is gonna be for the seating bracket. We got Rudy Hansen and Daigo both getting buys, so I'm sure they're excited about that. And we're going to get into our first couple battles. So the first battle, and this is interesting. So just so you guys understand, Trent Beecham gets moved back into seating along with Hurst.
Hobson too.
Hobson
back
got
in,
moved
too.
back into seeding.
Yep.
Hurst, was it last round he got moved back into seeding? I think it was. It might have been last round that he got moved back
Think
into
so,
seeding.
yeah.
Yeah. So we are starting to see some shakeup, but it's still mostly the same guys, even though the point system's all messed up. Like, just for example, I just would like to point this out and rant before we actually get into the battles. We got Jack Shanahan in seeding. Let's go look at stat-wise where he's actually in the standings. He is 19th. Like,
Yeah, and he's also won the past 2 seeding brackets.
yeah,
So
he's got a spare 12. That's it's what is that, 24 points?
24 points.
That's a spare 24 points. Just chilling in his pocket because
Real quick, I want to interject real quick. He's actually gotten more points than us these past 2 rounds, even though we beat him both times. So fucking figure how that works out.
oh man,
yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy shit. But hey, it is what it is. It's the game we chose to play, so we just have to work around it. But it is pretty fucking hilarious when you look at it that way. I mean, it's funny. I spoke with Odie, and he's just like, "Why don't they let us do seeding?" It's like I'd love to go into seeding and fucking get some extra points. So I think that's something we need to talk about, because if this is going to continue, like, I'd love to be in seeding. Fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah, right.
I would have got. We would have walked away with 22 points instead of 10, which is all we got for beating Jack Shanahan twice. Which is another thing, is like we hate to see Jack Shanahan in top 32. Like that guy's a killer, and so it's always a tough battle.
It's funny because the way that the changes they've made to seeding bracket this year has now made me go back to the side of qualifying, because I wasn't originally on the fan side of qualifying.
Yeah.
But all of this BS has now just pushed me back into it, because there is no opportunity, even if you do win seeding bracket, to have a good battle, like an easy battle. Not you know what I mean, like you can't like go out and qualify and just at this one track that you're really good at and then have an easier 32 battle than you normally would. So it really makes the cycle hard to get out of. But for now, we do got a couple new faces, and they're actually going off against each other, and that's Beecham and Hobson. So I think Hobson came in hot this year, looking really good, but the last couple rounds, and it's weird because you watch him in practice, solid, but it always seems like something pops up, whether it was I know he was having issues one of the rounds, but then like over rotating it was Orlando, he over rotates on entry, kind of something he did not do all day, and then I'm trying to remember how he lost in last round, but
Jersey was like clutch failure or something. He like tried to re-engage in like outer 2, I think it was, and it just completely shut down on him. So either clutch or axle, I'm not sure what, but it was definitely no fault to his own. But it just it sucks. You can't catch a break, man.
Yeah, and then you have Beecham, who I think he's a guy that's either his event he's on it, or it's just a tough event for him. There's always been highs and lows with him. So I'm curious on the chat's thoughts on who's going to win here. I finally am getting the poll up. I had to pull it up real quick. So let's get this poll going just to see what the chat thinks. But yeah, Hobson and Beecham honestly should be one of the better battles. I mean, theoretically, because they're both higher. They were higher seeded earlier in the year. So I mean, it should be a spicy one, I would think. But we'll see. We'll see what the chat is saying here. Chat's definitely going towards Beecham, at least for the start. And I'm curious because I'll be honest, I was pretty high on Hobson after Long Beach. Like, I think we all saw him in Long Beach and we were like, he's a completely new person, or the car's completely new. Like, they've actually built that around him. But it just hasn't worked out this year. So
kind of sucks, that top 16, that decent seating position in top 16 that's just been 32 exit 3 rounds in a row. So I mean, though, I think, don't quote me on this, I think not Beecham, Hobson won one battle last year and it was at St. Louis, right? In the seating bracket.
That was against Robbins, I believe.
Yeah. So maybe this is, maybe he gets back up, it's the round to do well, but
Well, the
I don't
chat
know.
is not agreeing with you. I will say that. Chat.
No, 100%. I didn't vote for Hobson in the chat either. I voted for Beecham, but
I don't think I don't have the chat, so I'll just verbally say I want them to tie, dude. I want both my friends to win, so they're gonna both advance somehow, though.
Yeah, I
yeah,
get it.
yeah.
You're one of those guys. But
Yeah, we'll see. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, it could
Chat
go
is
either way.
saying chat says 67% Beecham over 33% Hobson. So we're gonna go ahead and give Beecham the win here. And Carlos, if you
Yeah.
haven't been or seen some of the pre-shows, what I like to do is I'll have chat decide who wins each battle, and then we'll kind of go through and see what the chat decides is like a winner for the seeding
Okay,
bracket, because
cool.
it's
Yeah,
been
I saw
fun.
one of them. I saw one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a fun little game because it's always been someone different, which is the interesting part. But yeah, so we got Beecham winning this. Next one up is probably the most important battle of seeding, and that's Dimitri Brutsky versus Andy Haley, because Dimitri loses, he's out for the event, assuming people don't break. Which, by the way, I do want to say something. At the beginning of the year, I was really frustrated with the driver count because I was like, there's no way people aren't going to break. But in some miracle fashion, every round, we've had everyone at competition in 32. At least, like pull up to the line for the most part. I don't think we've had really one by apart from like people like breaking as like either in the burnout box or something. But like we haven't had like there's always been one person that's been knocked out because everyone was technically ready to race by 32. Which, I mean, I feel like that's not like common. Like, or
Nah,
like
past years it's been a problem for sure. You'll see James get a bye run like pretty much every round.
I know,
But
dude.
Yeah.
And so they changed the rules this year so that like that person that gets knocked out would jump in if someone else couldn't make like the run or something. But like, yeah, we haven't had to do that this year, surprisingly, which is it's just a weird thing to kind of think about, because I was like at the beginning of the year I was worried about it with the low driver count. I was like, well, okay, we're gonna have at least 2 people break every round that can't make the 32, but it hasn't happened yet. So now that I say that, we're gonna have like 3
Yep,
cars
now it's
broken.
gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Everyone's
how it
gonna
goes
break.
sometimes. But
Yeah.
yeah, let's go
I
ahead and
think
get
the real quick, I'll interject real fast. I
yeah.
think the seeding is what helps with that phenomenon to not happen, because now they're having real battles the day before or even 2 days before, technically. So that gives them enough time to fix their car. Whereas in the qualifying format, you would qualify and then put your car away in the trailer, and you didn't know. I mean, you knew, but like you didn't know for sure if it was going to work with once the battles came. So maybe that helps. I don't know, but I'm here for it, man. I'm all about
Well,
battles happening.
and
Yeah.
so how I went to Drift Masters, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago now. It's all a
Yeah.
blur now. But one really interesting difference is obviously they still do the qualifying there, but practice was so more chill. Like practice, people were giving each other space. And I don't think it's necessarily because of the talent. I feel like the talent's there to drive hard in practice. But like the first 2 days, like there was very few that were guys that were actually like pushing in people's doors. But you like from the get go in FD, like everyone is in each other's shit like right away in practice.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's because of that 12 lap rule, and in my opinion, like
Yeah.
it's a successful day in the office for us when we can get 12 laps. And let me tell you, this whole year we haven't gotten them.
Really.
And it's just that's the way it is. You just have to be. It's so crucial to be like the first in line because then you're in front of the rotation. So then once you do your first lead, now you're ahead in the chase. So if you're in that circle, then you're gonna get your lap count in. But it's just tough. Do drift matches? Do they do groups?
Yes, they do. They do
Yeah.
A
Right.
and B
And
group.
I think that's awesome. Yeah.
It's interesting because like okay, well, like for example, Simon wasn't a big fan because he wanted to go drive with all the good guys, but like it
yeah.
was because he's obviously a new person. You get put
Yeah.
with the lower end drivers, but like it's not like they're lower end. Like there's some good people still in there. Like he was driving with like Churba and like Husky Corpy and like some of those guys that just Dwayne McKeever was in his group. Like so there was good people still in the group, but it was like it does seem like it goes faster, but I don't know if they necessarily get more laps because um, you're only driving for half the amount of time, and
Yeah. Yeah.
so
True.
it is. I don't know if it necessarily gets you more laps, but
Hmm.
especially if you break, then you really don't get an opportunity to fix your
Yeah.
car for that day. Like you break, like you're kind of done for the day. But it is interesting to see them kind of split up, and you definitely see them a lot faster that way. But I don't know. I personally like the where they're all run together because it just from a media standpoint kind of makes it easier to kind of figure out, okay, this person goes, all these people have gone through this area, now I can move and go to a different area and get angles from that area because I know everyone's at least gone through once, kind of thing. But in terms of the run of show, it seems like it definitely helped speed things through. Let's see. Let's check the chat out. Chat is saying Dimitri 69% over Andy at 31%. And I feel like Dimitri's always done well at this track in the past. I don't know why. It just seems like his kind of track, stop and starting. Um, but
That's
uh,
crazy. Well, I wonder what you mean by that. Dude,
yeah,
elaborate.
he's just got good breaks.
Exactly.
Yeah,
No, I'm just giving him shit.
breaks.
Yeah.
but honestly, like he I mean, if I was him, like this would be you have to try this battle like to be the best because there's no second chances with him with this for him. So
Yeah.
I would also be putting
Yeah.
my money on him just because of that fact. Like I feel like, and you can tell me, do you think you would drive differently if you're guaranteed to be in the show tomorrow, in a battle versus if you basically you have to win in order to be in the show tomorrow? Like, would you think you would drive that 10% harder, because of that fact?
Are you asking Brandon or me? I
Yeah,
don't
well,
drive, so but I've seen a lot of drivers,
yeah,
and yeah, 100%, dude. I mean, if you have everything to lose, then you have nothing to lose, right? So you're
right.
just gonna send it. Like it's
Yeah.
almost if I was Haley, I'd be a little scared. But again, it's just I see that a lot when you get into like let's say you're in the top four, right? And then you have a guaranteed podium. You just kind of see like you're like, ah, well, I'm in the podium, or even in the finals, you're already kind of like, you kind of tone it down because you're like, well, look, I have a guaranteed first or second spot,
Yeah,
so there's a little bit of less pressure when there shouldn't be, but that's just the way I see it. So I think Britsky for sure is. I would take that if you're not asking
Yeah.
me, but I'm kind of I'm saying that, yeah.
yeah,
I imagine he would go a little harder just because if he doesn't win it, then he's out no matter what
Yeah.
because he's the lowest seed. So
yeah. Which
I think he's
now,
gotta put it all on the table.
right. So chat def is picking Dimitri in this one, 73% over Andy. Although shout out Andy, still love you, buddy.
Yeah.
Um, Next battle is another interesting one, and I mean, let's say chat goes the way it goes. Like this is a super important battle for Novak as well because he's the next seeded, lower under Dimitri, and
Yeah.
Novak's years just it.
Yeah.
I will say at the beginning of the year, Novak was like kind of like my dark horse to get like a top 10 at the end of the year, but just things just not gone right for him this year.
Yeah. No, 100%. He's had shining moments like chase run against Osbo in freaking Orlando.
Yeah,
Sick. Until his lead run came around and he biffed in the wall. Not so sick. So it's like it's definitely there, and he did pretty decent in the seeding last round, and he does well in St. Louis. I think he qualified second a couple years ago, something like
yeah,
that, right? Um, but then Mata also does well here. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm
yeah.
wrong. I
He
know
does
Nate's
well.
good friends with Mata, and I don't keep up with him as much, but I think he got a podium here last year, or he won it here last year, something along those
Yeah.
lines.
He did. He did pretty good here, and he
Yeah,
usually does. Like it's always been around where, I don't know. He's just the car has been for him set up well, and I don't know. You can tell me, Carlos, but like, do you think having a BMW is a really big benefit at this course because of the stop and go nature, and like since it's basically drag racing from one end to the other, or do you think it's not that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no, 100%, 100%. And it's funny. Certain tracks, obviously, you start to see patterns
Yeah.
and what caters to what. And honestly, man, the BMW chassis in general is just like it could win in any track, which is just something that I like to tell Dylan about a lot. Is like we have the luxury of having a chassis that we chose. Like a lot of the top guys are like locked into the I got to run the Supra because I'm Osmo and I'm Toyota backed, or I got to run the GR because I'm Turk and I'm Toyota backed, or the Mustangs, you know. And the
Mm-hmm.
Mustangs, like for example, they do well at fast courses. They don't do so well here usually. It just depends on who's behind the wheel, obviously, right? But it just doesn't cater to a big car like that that takes its slower rotation and whatnot. But the BMW for us, in my opinion, is like the best chassis all around.
Yeah.
So here, especially, it's good. But S chassis, I think, are a little bit more advantageous at this track. They're just a
Really?
little more nimble. Yeah, so in my
That would
opinion,
make sense.
but if I had to choose, I'd still choose the BMW E30 60 46 for any course because it can just win at any given weekend, no matter what. So,
Right.
yeah, yeah, that's my 2 cents. But
That's cool.
I mean, we'll see how we do this weekend, right? Hopefully we do well. But yeah, no, I every time we unload that car to the trailer, I know it's ready to win because it's a good chassis and yeah, man, we're just lucky. We're lucky we're able to run that car because I'm sure a lot of people wish they could, you know, and they can't. So I mean, look at LD, right? Like he was in a Mustang and he's just like, dude, F this. And his results showed it. Everyone would always say, like, oh, he needs to go back to the 36. And he probably asked himself, he's like, why am I in a fucking Mustang? Like, I should just run the car that I'm comfortable in. And you see how well he's doing. So yeah,
Right.
man, that chassis is just it's fucking I mean, it was made for drifting, really, if you ask me. I think the development is just because the S chassis has been drifting longer, that's why it's still so good, right? And out of the box, you just put Y swab on an S chassis and it works,
You know
especially
what
with the front
you
steer
don't
now.
see in pro anymore though?
A
S
13.
S13s.
Oh, here he
And that
goes.
was the
That's
funny
Yeah.
13
thing when I
talk.
went over to Drift Masters. I'm like, there's so many 13s here.
It's the tire.
I
It's the
know it's
tire.
the
So the
tire. Yeah.
S13, the S13 suspension is so small. It's like an FRS. But
Yeah.
see, that's what's crazy is like Jerry Yang and even Connor, like they've still figured out the FRS, which is amazing to me because those shocks are like fucking they're nothing, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
S14 shock in comparison to the 13 is comical. How much bigger
Right.
it is. So
Yeah. That's funny. What's up, buddy? But like, it it was just such a stark contrast. I think it was Thomas Kiley who I was talking to. Like sick car, like ran this crazy JDM kit on his car and sounded awesome. But I was talking to him. I was eh, like you just don't see these things anymore in the States because you need the chassis grip. Like chassis grip is so much more important. And where I think Drift Masters, you can have that diesel wagon and, be competitive and have these
yeah,
different chassis and even like the newer BMWs, like it's cool
Yeah.
that, you get Rome that's trying to make the newer style BMW work. But like, after E46, I mean, it's like, has someone really, made the E92s or the next generation of BMWs like super competitive outside of running a grippy tire? Like, I don't know if I've seen that yet. So
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
real quick,
yeah,
the A90 Supra is the same as an E92.
yeah,
Yeah.
Uh, Geometrically speaking, in the
okay,
back. So Algo's figured it out. I mean, it's
okay,
there. The development's there. I think it's just to us like because it's funny. Dylan actually wanted to build a 1 series. I daily a 1 series, but I just don't think they're good cars for drifting. Not because they're not good at drifting. It's because if you hit a corner, it's tricky to get it back on track in 5 minutes. It's basically impossible. So
okay,
you have to think of these things. I think we talked about this the last time I was kind of on here, but I'm really big on serviceability because you're nothing if your car doesn't work. So I don't care how
right,
badass or how fast your fucking car is. If it's not on track, it doesn't matter. So with that in mind, that's why I think a lot of people are not doing the A92. But again, now we're talking Osbo doesn't have a choice. He has to be on the A90 because he's backed by Toyota. So he's made it work, and his team. I mean, they're the best. I those guys are awesome. Mario and Sean, and they know what they're doing. They do the drill, they practice, they take it very seriously, and they figure it out. And Rome has too. Rome's making the chassis work. I think it's just if you get in a big crash, you're kind of out for the count.
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, E92s look sick, man. That's the thing is like those cars look so cool, especially the
They're a
HGK.
little
Like
they're
you're
a little
fighting.
round for me. I'm a box guy. I like boxes.
The
Uh,
E36 coupe guy. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, I told Dylan, I was like, hey, when we bring the C36 to FD, because this thing looks
Oh,
nice.
well, let me tell you, yeah. No, it's funny you say that because we have a E46 M3 chassis at the shop that we're gonna start building, and we're just like, dude, I think we're gonna do a 36. I think you guys will hear it first. But yeah, it probably won't be for next year, but the
Yeah,
following year we're gonna be in a 36. Again with the
Oh
HGK
yeah,
kit, like that car looks fucking dope. Like our
it's
demo
so
car looks
good.
awesome. Yeah, so
It
well,
it's a good
does.
looking car when you put the right kit on it.
right. Well, and the thing is too, I'm just curious parts wise. Do you use a lot of E46 stuff on 36 when you're at the pro level, or is it three E36 stuff still pretty much?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty much all E36 stuff, which is why he doesn't want to build an E46. Is that subframe sucks, man, compared to the E36. Like
Really?
E36 is so easy to weld a quick change, and we realized that he further reinforced it when we put the rear FDS stuff. He had to remake the whole subframe, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Man, I really don't want to do this again." It took him like 2 weeks to like get it just right,
Wow.
and I was just like, "Dude, when are you gonna finish, man? Like, I kind of need to get this going." But he's very particular with how he welds, and I would be too if I was welding stuff on the car. So with that in mind, he did that, and he's like, "I'm never doing this again." So we're gonna sell that shell and get an E36, another one. So yeah, but
Interesting.
I'm more of an E46 fan. It looks nicer, it's newer,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, we need the chassis that works. And if he wants to build an E36, then I'm here for it. You know,
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
I'm here for that.
Yeah.
36 best car.
Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, it's interesting because the chat's pretty close on this battle between Novak and Mata. We just got another vote in for Novak, so it ended up being, I think it was 61%. Yeah, 61% Novak over Mata, so it's a close one for sure. But going by that, and how crazy would this be? Let's say theoretically, Dimitri wins, Novak wins. The next guy on the chopping block is Dan Burkett.
Radical
Can you imagine a
Daniel.
year where Dan doesn't make the show 2 events?
Hmm.
Be wild.
Yeah.
But the hard part is it's not like he's going against a slouch here. He's going against a guy that needs a win, honestly, in a Hurst. So it's.
I mean, if anything, it's in Dan's favor. Just statistically this year, Hurst hasn't done too hot. So
Yeah.
that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'm like, I don't know if Jonathan's trying to drive differently or if it's just because maybe the chassis tire. I don't know. Like, I don't know if how much you have seen in terms of Hurst driving this year, Carlos, but it's like, he seems not as aggressive as he's been in the past, which I don't know if he's just trying to tame himself a little bit more or just because that's usually being too aggressive is usually what's bit him before.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know what it is. I hope it isn't something he's changing because it's not working.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I will
Is it?
say, just from a like a car standpoint, the second year, if you're not on top of your shit, is always going to be harder. Just because there's so many, there's so many like nut and bolt checks that you have to do that you
Yeah.
start to get kind of lazy, right? You're like, I know what stuff gets loose, and you check it, and you do your, but you start to get lazy and stuff that needs to get rechecked or changed, like master cylinders and just dumb little things. So that might be what's biting him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd have to talk to him, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't really seen much of his driving this year, so I don't know I just don't know if he's being beaten straight up or if it's because of a technical failure.
Right.
What have you guys seen? Has it been mostly like straight up battle that he just lost, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Yeah.
I remember like the wow factor that he would have, and like I specifically remember like his battle against Matt Field last year in Orlando, where they went like, or even New Jersey a couple years ago against Matt Field, where they went one more time, like 3 times, like where he's bringing it consistently all the way around the track, pushing him, and he's just I haven't seen that level from him this year.
Agreed. Yeah.
It's
Did he
just
It's
change
just
tire?
been no, still Kenda.
still
Still
Kenda.
same? Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
And Kenda's competitive this year, so it's like
That's a really good tire. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great tire. I
Yeah.
don't know. It does seem like he's just been less aggressive, and it's just I don't want to say it, but kind of like a step down in how his driving is compared to like last year and his years in the 46. It's just something's up. It's just
Yeah,
not working for him.
it is. Yeah, so like that's like the thing is like, should you be worried about him, because eventually I would assume he's gonna start getting annoyed and start just pushing people on the track. I mean, he did punt Mata pretty good in Orlando. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
um, but I don't know. It's just one of those battles where both of these guys really need a win. Dan, I don't know. I don't think he's had the year that he's had. The car looks like
Yeah.
the car looks fast, but it looks hard to drive. When I do see him, because I know he's now running the Wise Fab in the rear. So
He is now.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see the switch. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I think that's a big jumping, a big learning curve for him. But yeah, man. I mean, Dan's like our boy, man. I love that guy, and now he's on field suspension. He's got the rear wide fab. Maybe it's just a lot all at once, and
Yeah.
he'll adjust. But yeah, it has been a pretty shitty year, unfortunately for
Yeah.
him.
So like I said, two guys that need a win. Chat's saying, and this is another close one. Chat is picking Rad Dan at 62%. So another close one. And Chat keeps picking the lower seed drivers, which who is the next lowest seed? That'd be Jack Shanahan. So, I mean, it'd be pretty wild if we got all the way back down to Ben Hobson and Trent Beecham at 8 and 9.
Yeah.
But next battle is going to be Federico Shrifo and Jack Shanahan. And Brandon, you said you saw an interesting story before we came online here.
I did, yes. I saw on Jack's story that the motor's out of the car because we all saw his something catch on fire in Jersey, and it's
Yeah.
currently out of the car. But I assume it'll be back in by tomorrow night, and it'll be all fine and dandy. So as long as the car works, I feel this is definitely an easy Jack win here. But
I
yeah,
don't know, man.
motor's out of the car right now.
Federico made the finals in Orlando. You better watch
Yeah,
out.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know the engine builder that's working on Jack Shannon's car, Sam McMommy. He actually
Yep.
drives Prospect, and I went
Yep.
over to his shop because he's like right down the street from us, and yeah, he had in our battle with us, injector failure, cylinder 6, so it melted down the piston. So they shipped that engine back. It's at the machine shop now, and then Sam actually put another S54 together for him, shipped it out, and they're doing a bunch of shit. But I know for sure they'll be out there, and they'll figure it out. So that'll be a good battle
Yeah.
for Jack. I just hope everything is mechanically good with the car outside of the engine, because the engine's what failed, but it's because of outer parts that it happens. So like the fuel lines, all other shit needs to get changed. I hope they do that, which I'm sure they will.
Yeah, because
So,
it's like,
yeah.
I mean, the car, to be fair, has been pretty beaten up. That hit in Atlanta probably messed some stuff up.
Yeah.
It's and he like you said, he won the seating bracket or in Orlando, so the car worked decent enough then. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just kind of been that year. Jack's had an interesting year because it's one of those guys where you kind of probably expected similar success to Connor. With him coming over, but it's just been kind of weird, like he's had some really incredible battles, and then some of the most flukiest stuff happened, like a caliper go through his wheel in Long Beach.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
what?
yeah.
Just
That's
weird things,
crazy.
and so I think, honestly, I'll be surprised if Jack's still in seeding by the next round, because like I just feel like he's going to have a good round. I just don't know when that round's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I'm curious to see how he does with St. Louis, because he's never driven this track before. And I feel like this is a track where experience is really going to help you, especially getting into like that last corner where it is blind basically in the chase. I mean, most of the corners are pretty blind in the chase, I feel like, at this track. But especially the last one where you're just kind of praying you don't smash the lead car, or that the lead car is not way far ahead of you, going to that final corner. But the chat is, it's not like totally run away with by Jack. I mean, it's 71% to 29% over Federico. So some people definitely have some faith in Freddie still, but Jack's going to take the win on this one. And I agree with that. Next is a buy with literal. So, and I kind of did this not correctly. I was supposed to go the Freddie Jack battle, then the Hurst Dan battle, but it's all good. So now that kind of brings us into our next battles here. So the first battle is going to be against Rudy Hansen versus, and it was who won? It was Beecham. That's right, Beecham versus Rudy Hansen, which would be a fun one. Let's see.
That would be it's not a bad one
Yeah,
for
sorry,
sure.
I was typing this in, but yeah, Rudy making making his S13 work for the most part.
Yep.
You know, it's I don't know. You tell me, Carlos. Is Rudy's car, keeping up pace wise with everyone else in terms of grip and everything else, or I'm just kind of
I
curious.
think Yeah, I think so. I think it's a competitive car at the smaller courses.
Yeah,
I don't know Orlando. I don't remember who he went against or who he lost against, but in a small course like Jersey or here, honestly, every car is so they're all. It doesn't really matter. You're all pretty much in the same grouping. It just depends on the driver, man. I want to say like 20 to 30% is the car, and then 70% is the driver, man.
right.
The stuff these guys can accomplish nowadays is incredible, and yeah, it depends on the driver, and especially in these small tracks because there's so many adjustments, and every adjustment is a place to make a mistake. And if you do it right, Rudy, I've seen him do some great shit. I mean, even Atlanta, he's been really good in Atlanta, which is a fast course. So yeah, no, I think that car's quick. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
definitely.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it he's another guy, second year in pro, definitely looking to, improve and just get better. Obviously he has the two car team with Shelly and doing all that kind of stuff. So, shout out to him for just doing the thing, with this whole family. Like that's kind of just a sheer
Yeah.
crazy, and it's not been like a quiet year for them, you know.
Nah.
No. No.
um, but even like an event where he's just driving like in Orlando and their pits just flood. It's like it's always been something for him this year. So, honestly, I'm hoping for like a normal event for him. That would be kind of nice. I feel like just on his end,
Just
just
yeah.
just a standard event where you know we do what we do and we're not trying to repair a car that's been flipped.
Yeah, did they
Yep.
figure that out? Are they gonna use that same chassis? Or I thought they were looking for a chassis, right, for Shelly?
I
I
think they're
have,
doing it after St. Louis,
yeah.
Ah,
from
I
what I
see.
saw.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy stuff, man. Fuck.
Yeah, well, Jersey took the number out on some cars, that's for sure, and
Yeah.
it wasn't even necessarily other cars. It was just how it went sometimes. But this one's actually really close. We got 58% Rudy over Trenton Beecham. Interesting, cause
Really
yeah,
interesting.
cause I
uh,
thought I would have picked Trenton here, but we got
I
some
mean,
Rudy
Rudy did
fans in the
podium
chat.
last year.
What?
So Rudy podium last year in Pro Spec. Got
2 years ago
Trenton podium last year in
or
pro.
last year? That's right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Trent did what? Third in Utah, right? Or where was it that he
Yeah.
podiumed?
Yeah, it was Utah.
Utah.
That was sick. Yeah. But yeah, we'll see. I'm surprised by that one. I would put my money on Trent.
Yeah.
But fuck it.
58% Rudy, 41% Trenton.
It's
Interesting. The
pretty
chat.
close either
It is
way.
close though.
Yeah.
It is close. Next one's gonna be Dimitri versus Novak. Tale of two
Hmm.
BMWs, but totally different BMWs.
Yeah.
Oh man, and I don't know. I feel like their driving styles are very different as well.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of like accordion, if you ask me. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
two very different driving styles. One very aggressive, one very calculated, depending on if he's in the lead or the chase. So we'll see. We'll see, man. But it'll be a good battle. Let's see. This is the other thing about seating is I will say I enjoy watching it, man. It's such a good show. Like so for the fans, it's awesome, right? Like that's what they
Right.
want to see. So it works out. Unfortunately, at the expense of a lot of technicalities on the back end that no one sees, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and the other thing too is it gives. I mean, I think the idea behind seating bracket was going to give lower drivers more chance to practice battles and get better that way. I don't know how much better you get with a couple extra battles, overall. And is
overall.
it worth the wear and tear that you actually end up getting from those battles on the car, like um and whatnot, like because Shelly's crash was in seating, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
against Carson, right? Yeah,
Yeah, it was
Carson
in, but
Ruger.
it was in seating, is what I
Yeah.
was saying.
In seating,
So it's
okay.
like instead, if you did regular qualifying, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be repairing a car that's flipped over for
Yeah,
competition the next day. So, it. I mean, it's the
yeah.
same argument that why Peter Visick doesn't run the fantasy battles or whatever after qualifying in Drift Masters anymore, because he totaled a chassis.
Yeah, that's
So
crazy to me, man.
it's an interesting idea. Obviously, more experience gets you more practice, but at what cost? That's always the question. Wow, another really close one. It's 55%, 45% Dimitri right now. We'll give it a couple more minutes. We'll let a couple more people to vote in there as well. But the other thing, and I'm curious because I know Dimitri's also had engine issues with the pro car, and I think he's ran the pro spec car at least 2 of the rounds this year in pro.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been an interesting thing as well for him. And I mean, like you said, St. Louis isn't necessarily like a fast course, but I do feel like the dig you need to get. I don't even know which outer zone that would be, but the wall to basically
3.
digging out of the first hairpin to get to the final hairpin. That dig, I
Oh,
feel
I
like you
see.
really need the grip and power, and I think that's where it
Yeah,
benefits. Because like talking to a lot of the drivers, you either are upshifting there and then downshifting back for the final corner, or you're just trying to make one gear work. But um, that's where I feel like you get left if you don't have the car properly set up. Is that corner, or if you just don't set yourself up right in the hairpin before. But let's see. Chat is okay. So now it's switched. It is switched over to Novak now at 59% over 41%. So I got a couple more votes in and changed sides. So we're going to go ahead and end it off there at 58% Novak, 41% Dimitri. So another close one there. And that's kind of the fun part, was we got to kind of get an idea of what chat kind of thinks, or if these guys are, actually even. This will be an interesting one. Daigo Saito versus, and I want to give a shout out to Daigo for running 20s on the Supra in Drift Masters, because that's a baller statement. That you just kind of whip those out real quick. I couldn't believe it, dude. Like watching that car, and it worked. Like the car was fast. He was not slow in the car. That's the funny part. It's amazing what a pair of basically, I don't even, rubber bands do for the car. Like, dude, the tire compound's hilarious. You just push it and it stays that way. It's like Play-Doh.
that's crazy.
It's so funny.
Yeah,
But like I said, it makes so many more chassis over there competitive, and you don't have to necessarily rely on the chassis grip there. Which, another really cool example we were talking about was the difference in James Dean's Mustangs versus over there. Because over here, you
yeah,
get the crazy 3-wheel action and all of the suspension travel, and you go over there and like the car doesn't 3-wheel. It just stays
yeah.
flat
And
and
it's
kind
so
of.
much lower too.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, the rear of that car is so much lower out there than it is here. Because I mean, he could get away with it, which is awesome. The car looks a lot better. That's for sure. It looks way cooler out there than here.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's the interesting part, is like it looks like it's, even though it's grippier, and theoretically I think that car would be faster because it's lighter than the FD car. It looks easier to drive
Mm.
because you got 2 wheels to steer with instead of one.
Yeah, yeah.
um uh, just as an example though, and I'm kind of curious. It would be interesting to talk to him about which car is actually easier to drive, because d is would it be better for the sport if you were on a grippy tire like that? That way you don't have to do the craziest things to the chassis to make them do what you want, or do you like the lower grip from a tire so that now it's more like you benefit more from knowing more about the chassis, running a good chassis, and doing it. I'm just kind of curious, like what side would you like to be on in terms of your just your thoughts, Carlos?
From a mechanic standpoint, I like where I'm at just because you actually feel like you're making a difference to the
Yeah,
chassis development. But what's cool about James is he has the best of both worlds, right? Because now I'm sure he could dial so much more grip into that car in Europe than he has now, if he ever needed to. But I don't think they do. Like
yeah,
you could see it in Peter. Peter really like shows what mechanical grip with a good compound can do. That car looks like undrivable, basically. I mean, every time Peter's driving that car, it looks like he's like on knife's edge of anything going wrong, which is why a lot of times something does go wrong, but that's the level you have to be out there because it seems like those guys are just, it's a different animal for sure. But if you ask me, I think I prefer mechanical grip because then the compound is just something you can add on later, it's just that
right,
extra plus. But I just don't think it'll ever come to America just because of the way FD structures the tire rules.
yeah,
Which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. At least we're all on the same playing field, and I will say that every tire does have a little like advantage, but it also has a disadvantage. And I do think our GT radial is like pretty well rounded, which is why I think also our chassis is very well rounded. Whereas like the Nitto, if you ask me, the straight line speed of that thing is pretty good. Side bite is whatever. But what's funny is I talk to the Nitto drivers and they think that our tire is better, and then I'm just like, see, this is why we're just but everyone's bullshitting. But I will say the Kendas. I mean, we went testing with Turk in the off season when he was barely testing that tire, and we're like, oh man, that thing, it's something to worry about. So it's cool. It's exciting to see tire companies coming in with a very competitive tire. So
exactly,
it's good. It's good for everyone.
exactly,
Yeah.
and like I remember the days of like, I think it was like Achilles came out with the 1 2 3s, and everyone's like,
Yeah.
okay, so that's apparently the tire you have to be on, you know. But
Yeah. Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
like there every once in a while there's like that tire that just shows up. I remember when the Nitto first had the 315s, and everyone's like, yeah, we're on 265s here, bud. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
so it's like, there's usually a stepping stone, but like you said, I think we're in a really good place in terms of competitiveness in between the tires and stuff, which is always good to see. Looking at the battle, we have 70% Jack over Daigo. I'm gonna agree with that one as well.
Yep.
You know, I I'm still waiting for some one of these events where Daigo just clicks, and then all of a sudden he's just like pushing some people. But I don't know if we're ever gonna see that day.
It'll be
Um,
Seattle if it is Seattle or Utah.
Yeah.
He
yeah,
loves them big tracks.
it it was funny, even like even in Drift Masters, he would pull some of these runs out of nowhere where they were just like just sick runs, and then the other 50% of the runs he would just be going off track, and it was like, can we just get the just it's the consistency thing, I think, in how it's the biggest difference, I think, between a driver 10 years ago and a driver today is obviously proximity is a big difference, but I think consistency is the number one change. Every run, pretty much, drivers are hitting their marks if they're within like a foot, you know, usually a foot to 6 inches. They're usually within that mark. Um, every run, which is a big change probably from 10 years ago, where there maybe would be a lot more variance in that. And it is interesting to see just the new generation. You watch a guy like Manoa. How many mistakes does that guy make in an event? Two.
Yeah.
you
It's
know,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
it is. I mean, eventually you just become a robot, and that's kind
All
of where
about
this,
reps.
this sport is kind of getting to. But let's look at the next battle we got going here. So we just had Jack versus Daigo, and the next one's going to be Literal versus, was it Hurst? Or no, we had Dan beating Hurst. We had Dan beating Hurst versus Ryan Literal. Another interesting year for Literal because the car seems to have been working. Now, but he hasn't had like that breakthrough year,
Yeah.
That was kind of like halfway expecting to kind of see, because like I remember in years past, the one event the car would work, he'd make like a top 8.
Yeah.
Um,
It seems like he's having car setup issues, to be honest. Because we saw in Orlando, I don't know who set that car up, but it was not set up very well. Because it was just like compressing so much coming off the bank, and he was popping wheelies everywhere. It's like, let's relax now. And it was the
yeah,
same in Jersey. It's just like bouncing all over the place.
yeah.
And it was just, it looked hard to drive for him. Like he's, that car before this year made like 650 or something like that is what he was telling me. Like it didn't make a lot of power. So a lot of it was just momentum. Like he just has to drive with momentum. I feel like if he would have, kept that same sort of like not trying to make the car move so much and just having it, not loose, but just, it being stable and him just, using his skill and his, his skill, I guess, just to drive with momentum. Now he's got more power and a reliable car. I think he would have done better instead of trying to reinvent the wheel and have this crazy car setup now and it's bouncing all over the place and it's just not benefiting him the last few rounds.
Yeah, because I feel like if you give that guy a halfway decent setup car, the dude can wheel. Like,
Oh,
that's always the
100%.
thing.
Yeah.
He's been doing it for a really long time, and he is a good driver. He's dealt with a lot of car issues, and he always has. But yeah, even the last round, he was like asking for a throttle body, so I don't know what they were doing there. And then the round before that, their nitrous solenoid was out in Orlando, which they run the same nitrous solenoid we run, and it's just like I don't even know how that one goes bad. It doesn't even sell a rebuild kit because they don't go bad. So I don't know they had like a heating issue or whatever, but yeah, it's crazy shit. But
Yeah,
do you
that
guys know?
thing.
Did you guys know that he's the one that got Odie into drifting?
Yeah,
Really?
Did
yeah.
you
He
guys
told
know that? Yeah,
Odie,
that's pretty wild.
Odie
Crazy.
told that story on here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy, man. I was like, fuck. So yeah, he's been around for a while, man. That's for sure. And he can drive, but again, if he has the car, So hopefully soon it all clicks. It's only been like 16 years in the making or whatever. But but that's not me talking shit. Like talk about like a guy that is very
he's found a
committed,
way to
right, to
come
the
back though
sport.
every
Like
year, which is the
Yeah.
crazy
yeah,
part. You
yeah,
know,
Yeah.
just
insane.
he's got a nice rig set up. Like even though it kind of
Every
got
year, every
yeah.
year he has like a different rig, but a nice rig. I'm like, dude, where does he get this stuff? But good for him, man. Like it's awesome.
Exactly. RIP to
Yeah.
Yeah,
the canopy though. That kind of got messed up in New
yeah,
Jersey,
Yeah, that
but
thing's kind of gone.
yeah.
yeah. It's crazy.
But
Yeah.
what
I
is
think
the
if that suspension is set up well this round, it'll be good news, but
Well, you guys will find this interesting because chat's saying Literal over Rad Dan right now at 58%.
Ah,
there we
Yeah,
go.
I feel like we have a very contrarian chat here. And they're just we'll let a couple more votes come in just to make sure that that's what we're kind of looking at. But I mean, I'm curious your guys' thoughts. Do you guys like the green? Because he went the red, then the blue, then the green. I'm a big red fan. I like the red.
I really liked. I don't. I thought this livery for this year was going to be a temp livery because it kind of looks like that a little bit. I don't know what happened, but like his Irwindale livery last year, hot. That was awesome. With the green and like all the I guess the casino theme because it was for a photo shoot in Vegas with Sunoco. Very, very cool. I don't hate the green, but it's cool because it's all painted because he
Right.
loves doing that. So I think that's lots of brownie points there. I like all the flake in it, but yeah, like a red or blue would be cool. would have been more cool. So I don't know.
Yeah, the green. I'm not a big fan of green, man. I don't know
Yeah,
why. But I will say, and I give him props every fucking time because that asshole's car always looks good. I'm always like,
it
"Fuck you"
does.
and your nice car. Like, no, and it's me. I'm meaning it in the best way possible because I try to like make sure our car's always clean, and then I look over his car and I'm like, "Fuck you, man!" Like, but it's awesome. He cares. It's just like Justin Pollock was the same way. Like these guys, they care about how their shit looks, and I can't stress that enough to people. Like sponsors see all this shit. Like you want to be on the car, well, you got to make sure you have a good looking car, And he's a
Yeah,
prime example. Like Ryan Literal doesn't have the results to show for it, but he still keeps getting good sponsors, and it's because he could present his car and himself very well. So yeah, kudos to him, man. And I think the blue and white Sunoco scheme was fucking dope, and so was Irwindale at the end of the year. But
yeah,
yeah, whatever he does, it's gonna look good. But yeah, I just don't like
100%.
green. Yeah,
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 like I said, my favorite was when it was red and he had that red
red.
scheme. I think it was 2 years ago.
oh
I
yeah,
was
the
like,
power stop theme
yeah,
that he had.
I was like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
dang, that's hot.
that whole era of the power stop car was good. And like the white and red and the black and red,
Hmm.
that was
I
good
just hate the
stuff.
3-spoke wheels, man. That shit pisses me off. I don't know
Yeah,
why I
those
don't
things
like
are
them.
heavy as fuck too. I don't know why the fuck he ran those. They were
Yeah, I don't know,
so
man.
heavy.
Oh
I
no,
could
it
not
seems like
get
three
it.
spokes are coming out for 350Cs now.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, yeah, everyone in Pro Specs running them now because it's fucking Heritage wheels. Oh, here's your 3 spokes. Fuck off, dude. I don't know why you would run that.
Yeah,
I
it's
know
such a
they're
gross man.
free. I know they're
Yeah.
free, but I don't know why you want 300 pounds of rotational mass on each corner. That just doesn't
Yeah.
make sense to me. But I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no, fuck
funny.
that.
Well, and the other thing is like I made those comments about our chat being contrarian, and they now literal is now winning at 60% over 40% Rad Dan, so he's now extended the lead over Rad Dan. So that's an interesting one. So we'll go with that. We'll go with the win there. So let me quick go back. We have Rudy that beat Trenton going up against Novak who beat Dimitri. So Rudy versus Novak. That's a lot of leaders right there. Going at it.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Hanson and then
While you're doing that, Brandon, I'm gonna ask you a question because you're like a big sim guy.
Hmm.
Is there like a James Dean of sim driving?
Hines.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, he just
There's
put it into the
two.
wall in Drift Masters.
Me?
No, he did.
Who?
Hines.
Hines? Yeah, Alan Hines. I would say he's been the best for like 10 years. Like
Interesting.
Zach O'Sullivan used to be Ryan Literal's spotter. He won the championship 2 times in a row last year and the year before. But Alan has like since the beginning for like 10 years, he's always been on top. He's never really had like I'd say last year he had a little bit of a rough year, but he still got like 11th overall or something. And then this year he just won and he drives for RTR on the sim. And I think like he's also
Ah,
Irish too. So it's like RTR, Irish, and kind of all makes sense.
ah.
But
Yeah, I got it.
And is this
yeah.
setup different than everyone else's, or same shit as everyone else runs?
It's a little different. Like what do you mean? Like his car or like his
No,
sim
his like
setup?
his rig setup, like the sim setup
Hmm.
that he has.
So he's sponsored by a company called SimiCube. They make really good stuff. Probably some of the best stuff. They're from Europe. They're good stuff. His rig, like the chassis, it's all like he made it. I want to say him and his dad, Kieran Hines, made it like 15 years ago. Like he like said he welded it all together. Now he's got a new chassis. But he's a big proponent of just like yeah, I'm very similar on like the esports side, just have it very simple. Like I build rigs for a living. Like I build crazy triple screen rigs and motion rigs and stuff. But like this, I'll keep using like just this single screen for like esports stuff because it's just like it's
Ah,
simple. It's just like it always works. It's like it's reliable. You can tell where things are, and he's been using it for 10 years. I've been using this for 5 years. I'll just keep using it. I don't want to relearn how to drive on something else, and he's the same way. But some people they like the triple screen stuff. Like Zach, he has a triple screen setup, and he's he won a championship with triple screen setup. He got second this year, so it's not that it's bad, but you could give that guy a cardboard box and an Arduino board, and he would win because he's just like he could drive anything. That's how good he is. But
Yeah.
Got it.
yeah.
It was interesting though, because I got to meet him not in a great state of mind. Well, I mean, over in Drift Masters because he just basically destroyed the whole front right of his car.
Yeah.
But he was a fun guy to talk to. He was I don't know if I would say laughing about it, but he was like kind of making jokes about it and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do? It's like it happened.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
really weird crash too. Like the car just like turned right and went straight into the wall, and I was like, "What happened there?" So something must have broke. But it is interesting that like he's I think he won LZ World Tour over there.
He got second.
Or he got
last
second.
year.
That's right. He got
Yeah.
second. So like the dude can drive in real life too, which is the cool part.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
and he
super
won.
cool.
He won the Irish series last year too.
Did he win it?
He won
Okay.
IDS. Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. So, dude.
What car does he drive in real life?
S13.
An S14.3.
What?
Got
Okay.
S14 with the
Really?
S13 front. Yep.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Gross.
Yeah.
But like,
but
like,
gross.
but like the wing is the what part that gets me because it's like, what is that like the wing comes off the what are they,
Yeah, I
B-pillars?
don't get that this year. I'm not a big fan. It's very Darren McNamara style.
Yeah.
Very much.
Mm.
They're
Wild.
cousins, so
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's fun fact of the day. Yeah.
Fun fact. All right, so we're finishing up the poll here. Novak over Hansen at 73%. So he's making the finals. And then on the other side, we got Literal versus Jack Shanahan. So we'll go ahead and throw that poll up real quick. But who's like on the American side really good at sim driving?
Zach
Yeah.
O'Sullivan. Yeah. I don't think I'm terrible. I'm pretty decent at times, but
Are you
yeah, I
still-
think
are you
Zach's
Are you still retired?
Zach's the best. No, I still do it. I'm doing Drift Masters, virtual Drift Masters in a couple weeks. It's at Ferropolis.
Okay.
So that'll be
Sick.
fun. See what happens.
How many people sign up for that kind of stuff? Like, given
So
average.
that's like, so a lot of these big series now, like there's virtual Drift Masters and then virtual Drift Championship. That's like the FD version. I'd say they're pretty comparable. Like VDM, virtual Drift Masters, VDC is like FD. Those are like, you can't just sign up for it. You got to be licensed or be invited to it. Yeah. So the way you get into it nowadays is there's different I guess licensing series, and you get top 3 in the series or top 8 or whatever, and then you get a VDC or VDM license for that.
That's
sort of
cool.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And it's been really cool to see just how drivers are now because like obviously Dylan was not a sim guy if I'm remembering correctly.
All right.
And
Right.
so like he just learned to drive by driving. And so you get the guys like the Manoas that just drive on the sim all day and just seeing how they drive completely different than a guy like Dylan. So and I mean it is the future. I mean you see a lot of kids that's what they do. They should just drive in the sim all day, like a kid like Cameron Sorensen. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I bet you he's had way more sim time than his brother and sister, just because
Yeah.
by the time they got into it, like he couldn't drive. So what's he gonna go do? He's gonna sim drive.
I bet his summer break from school consists of a lot of sim driving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hours and hours of it.
but so but I think what the simming does is it helps with a lot consistency wise because you get those muscle memories down. Even
Yeah.
if it's not perfect, it helps you teach the consistent muscle memories that you need. Just from me alone, like I practiced this winter a decent amount on my sim, and I had 2 events in my car. Like those are my first 2 drift events that I did. Then I drove a bunch on the sim, and it was legit a night and day difference when I got back in the car this spring and drove, because I was like, well, for one, you get the confidence because once you're able to wheel as sim car, you're like, you get the visual idea of what you're looking for when you do like go sideways and stuff like that, and what the wheel's supposed to be doing in your hands, so that when you go do it in real life, you're like, oh, okay, so this feels really natural. And like for me, the only thing that I need to, the biggest difference right now, because I just drove an event this weekend and got like my first event where I really got like actually a bunch of laps in, which was really helpful. But so now that I can actually compare, like the biggest difference between like driving a similar type car on the sim versus what I have is I just need to make sure I keep the revs up a lot more in my car, because I feel like in the sim you're able to just stay off throttle and then just drop and just like let off the clutch basically, and then floor it, and then it'll still brake, or still kind of brake traction how you want it to, versus like in the car where you need to rev before you get off the clutch to make sure the RPMs and you're in the power band, so it doesn't bog when you're trying to transition or something like that.
I think that's car to car because
Is
like the
it?
cars I drive, I have to keep it. Like
Keep
I
the
have
revs
to
up.
keep
Yeah.
the
Well,
revs up when you're on
I was
handbrake.
trying to drive the
Keep the
lower
revs
power
up.
cars because I'm like, oh, it should be more like my car, but
Yeah.
I don't know
Even
if it.
yeah, there's some of those lower power ones aren't too great. They're very the term arcadey feels
Okay.
like a
Yeah.
arcade game in a way.
Gotcha. It just makes it easier.
Arcady, what happened to that guy? Did you guys remember that guy, Russian dude? That guy was coming up in the ranks in the RDS series. He had like a Supra or something. I
I
don't
have
know,
no
maybe.
idea.
I
You
have
know,
no
RDS.
clue.
No one talks about it now. It's just like the black sheep. But like RDS was coming up pretty big as a series, like Russian Drift series.
Oh yeah,
I've been seeing some stuff from them.
Yeah.
They're doing stuff
yeah.
for sure.
I think
Got some good drivers over there.
there was
Uh,
definitely a lot of conversation about that series and some of the drivers over there. I think I was talking to Jack Shanahan, and he was telling me about some of the, because I think he drove this series a couple years ago.
he did
Yeah, he did
for
it
yeah. In that
one
weird
it
Supra
one
that
it
looked off.
one at his first time off
Hmm.
out.
But
Yeah.
he was telling me, like, he said like the drivers over there's some drivers over there that would like be a serious problem in Drift Masters, is what he was telling me.
Oh,
If they came
100%.
over and drifted, which I don't think they're allowed to. I don't know how that all
Yeah.
works over there with the relations and whatnot, but
I think it's still like that because
yeah.
there's a couple people like from or there's one dude from Belarus who I've like DM'd a few times and he wanted to do Drift Masters, but because he's from Belarus, he's not allowed in. It's the same with like the Russians. If you're from
Okay.
Russia, you can't do Drift Masters, which hopefully they lift that soon because I feel like, that whole thing's kind of died down a bit, but
Oh no, we just sent a
Yeah.
bunch of
I don't
missiles
know.
over there, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe we can't. But
Oh man, but yeah, no. I mean, I'm still hoping, like, I would still want to see the Russian hockey team. I'm still waiting to see. Yeah, I'm a hockey fan. I'm like, I haven't seen Ovechkin play like freaking international hockey since he was like 18. I feel like, but same thing. Like, I just want to see some of the athletes. But like you said, the driving has been like really good over there. So I'm curious, when that day comes, you know,
I don't like their driving style too much. They are very they try to be as fast as possible.
yeah,
And like they'll just try to run away from the chase driver. Like they'll try to drive as straight as possible without losing drift in a way. That's the one thing I don't like about Russian drifting is that's kind of their style of things. Um
and like they score it that way. Like that's kind of what they're looking for. Or...
They still score it the same way we do here. It's just that's just the driving style there. No matter what track they're at, it's just as fast as you could go. You don't get rewarded for it or deducted for it, which I think is the thing. You don't get deducted for it. It's just that's just the common ground. It's like try to be as fast as possible. So
Gotcha.
not a lot of angle. which it's still, I guess it's cool because everyone matches it. But if it were to go to like Drift Masters
Yeah, they'd
or
get dinged pretty hard.
especially FD to get dinged pretty heavily for it.
Yeah, yeah. And they run all the super crazy tires over there too? I would assume.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we do have a finals. After that was Jack Shanahan beating Literal at 86%. So a lot of people had faith in Jack. Probably a little recency bias. So the finals is Jack Shanahan versus Novak. So I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts on that, on a theoretical battle like that, because that's very interesting two styles. I mean, and I think kind of crazy. I don't know if the power. I'm curious what the power level would be like in that BMW that Jack's driving. What's the torque like in comparison to, like, obviously Novak has a giant blower LS car, which I'm sure has torque at the moment he touches a throttle. Like 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. So I would be curious to see how differently those two cars would actually drive. But I don't know. Don't know. Let's see, and dang, Jack is winning pretty handily already, in the chat. But I mean, there's obviously nothing in the rules about getting too many points in the seating bracket to where, like, you have to get pushed up. But, like, I don't know. How many seating brackets does Jack Shanahan have to win before they have to start modifying rules?
Yeah.
It's
I mean, we'll go against him again if he wins, so we'll see.
Will you?
Yeah.
Because we're going against the winner of the seating bracket. It's been the same for the past 4 rounds, so
Oh, wow.
yeah, be good.
Well, according
What's
to the
cool
chat,
about
that's
that though
what
is you just start swinging. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, you're good. As I said, according to the chat,
Yeah.
that's kind of what it looks like it might be. People have faith in Jack again. So, Jack's going from no engine in a car to winning seating bracket in 2 days.
Yeah, crazy
Those.
stuff.
But yeah. And so we're going to probably end it off here and then do a quick look at all right, we got good votes in here. So, yep. Jack wins at 82% over Nick Novak. But I'm sure Nick would be happy to be in a finals. He needs the wins for the year. So I think, I honestly, for Nick, I think he would be pretty stoked with a finals and seating bracket.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see where he goes, but in the whole regular bracket. But we have some interesting names in here. I think the new name is Connor O'Sully, or at least 2 new names in here. We got Tommy Lemaire and Connor O'Sully, both in just your regular bracket now. And, good for them. Shout out to those guys for, getting out of the seating bracket. And we can kind of go ahead and kind of just look at the top couple brackets here. And the first battle that we do know at least is going to be Tommy Lemaire and Brandon Sorensen. And boy, that'll be a fun one. That's going to be a fun 32 battle right there.
Oh, yeah.
I think every round Tommy gets better. The more he's figuring out the car and whatnot. But like you said, I think Brandon Sorensen's the guy to, like, kind of watch out for, like, for the rest of the season as a low key. Maybe he's fighting for a top 3 at the end of the year, or something like that. Just with how he's rounded out his driving. I think I saw a reel from him, like, today. It was like, he must have posted it earlier, but it was like New Jersey apparently was his worst round he's ever had because he lost in 32, and I was like, I mean, it's not like that bad of a round.
Yeah.
Like it's not uncommon, but it just kind of shows you how much he's progressed to where, like, he expects to be, and you're fighting for top 8s and top 4s, and and it's been he's one of those guys that's kind of taken that next step, because it's always the question mark of when pro spec guys do move up to pro is like, all right, so who's actually going to take the next step though? Who's going to be making a top 10 at the end of the season, like who's, and he's definitely one of those guys that's done that now. Obviously, Dylan, when he first came in, how long did it take before Dylan was like fighting in the top 10? Was it 2
I want to
years?
say it was the second year, but because the first year was Huddy, so that was
Right.
like a shit year for him.
Yeah. Mhm.
But yeah, then the second year, I mean, he was already swinging for stuff. So yeah, second year, third year for sure. Third year is when he got his first podium. I want to say
Yeah.
in St. Louis, but I think it
Yeah,
was
that's
St. Louis. Yeah, and I was a part of the team yet, so I can't remember.
I know he
But
won Orlando, but that might have been like his fourth year
Yeah,
yeah,
2022.
in the rain.
and then yeah,
But
yeah.
that's cool. All right, so let's go ahead and throw. I'm just curious on the chat. We got a little bit of time left, not too much time, but might as well throw some of these fun battles that we do know in the chat, and then eventually I'd kind of, and I'm just gonna add the stipulation of you're not allowed to pick Dylan for this, just to make it fun, and I
Okay.
want to get like a little finals out of this. Just we'll go down the list and see who's on each side of the bracket and whatnot. But let's see if I can quick put this poll up. Who wins, TLO or Brandon? And I always forget, Brandon spells his name weird. It's with an EN, I believe.
Think so. Yeah.
Why is it not letting? Oh, why? YouTube's being dumb. Come on, YouTube. There we go. All right. Who wins? All right. Sorry, guys. Just trying to figure out why YouTube in the back end has decided to break. But in terms of TLO, what what do you, when you watch that C7 go around the track, what do you think from a plus to minus standpoint do you kind of see with that C7 chassis, just from looking at it and watching it or seeing it drive a little bit, Carlos?
I don't know. It seems like it rotates to angle rather quickly, but I don't know if I mean that might be advantageous if you have the grip to back it up. But that's just those cars in general. The biggest drawback that you have with those cars is that the back of your seat is like 3 feet away from the wall. So
Yeah.
the point of rotation of that car in comparison to anyone else's car is just so different that once it gets into angle, you're not gonna get out of that very easily. So as long as you got the grip for it, which he's a good driver, so he's figuring that out. But that's all I really see with those cars. So from a chase position, if we're chasing him, that's something to always look out for, because it'll hang you out if you're expecting to be at the same amount of angle as him, and then it just starts to over rotate and you want to try to follow him, but you can't because the back of your car is just going to hit the wall and be done. So something to consider there. But yeah, I mean the cars
Interesting.
are good. The chassis, the suspension setup. I mean that double A arm design is very good chassis. But yeah, I mean BMW is still better. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a good looking chassis. I will say that GM did a good job on the C7s. I do like how they look with the little sharper edges to them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, you're right. Like it does seem very snappy, and definitely harder to drive than I would say a lot of the other chassis in FT. Um, but I mean, Matt Field makes his work pretty darn good. So I don't know if I mean, I'm sure his suspension's pretty set up, probably different than TLO's, but um, that is the one thing I would say definitely is the snappiness is definitely different. Although we must have, I think we have some Canadians in the chat because TLO right now is beating Brandon 60% to 40%.
Yeah, fuck it, man. There's, there's some optimistic guys out there, I guess, but
I
Yeah.
know, right? But looking at the rest of the bracket, you got Adam in the bracket. You have Stukey and Castro. Shout out to Castro. He's actually had one hell of a year as well this year. And so is Stukey actually. In comparison, I keep forgetting. He's made top 16 like the last, what was it, 4 events in a row now.
yeah.
And he actually beat
Yeah.
he beat
A little
Cat. He made
podium.
top 8 last round. So, two guys that have actually had really really good years this year, as well in the bracket. So obviously Adam with your number 1 seed is probably you're supposed to be your favorite. I would think Sorensen's probably another high favorite in that bracket as well. But I like that bracket. That's a fun bracket. Bottom left bracket, we got Connor O'Sully, getting that top seed from that top 4 finish, so that's really cool. You got Gucci versus Jones, which they didn't battle last time, but
They battled before for sure.
well, no,
this
they
year.
battled before. I just can't remember if it was last event. It wasn't, but that'll be an interesting one. Just because I know Ken's year he had a good year at the first part of the year, but then it's kind of like evened out. And then Jeff, I think, has not had his favorite year. I think he's had a couple of top 32 losses. I think he might even be on that bubble of dropping into seeding bracket if things don't start to change for him. So I think he's going to be pushing real hard this event to make sure he gets some more points on the board. I'm curious. I just want a quick check because he is 26th right now.
And he's 20th in the. I guess if he were to get top 32, he's 20th. So he would that's if one of the lower ranked guys gets popped up, then it's like he has a pretty good chance to get into the same bracket.
Well, yeah. Well, you see, you got Trenton Beacham, Dan Burkett, all these guys just got moved back to seeding bracket. But then you got guys like Dimitri Bruschi, Daigo Saito, Rudy Hansen. These guys are all still in seeding bracket, but they're all ahead of him, which is still wild to me. Ben Hobson just got moved back, which I'm still trying to understand how that works. But I don't math very good, I guess.
Low event standing 32, and he wasn't ranked very high to begin with. Don't look at the overall points, Nate. Don't look at that. Look at the last standing from last round. That's all you gotta look at.
Oh my gosh! So
it's that simple.
It's just frustrating. Just like
when he had
but I can't.
When TLO and O'Sully and who else was a surprise to do and I want to say a Stukey maybe, and then a couple other people get they were in the lower ranked and then they get bumped up because they had a grade 8 finish or a top 4 finish or a top 16 finish.
Yeah, like a Derek
then
Madison,
it bumps people out.
Yeah. It's just, oh man, the point system's so jacked up. It's just hilarious to me. I'm just like, what is going on?
You just want qualifying back so you can be happy.
So I understand, because I thought I could look at this and understand it, but I just don't. But yeah, and then we got Manoa and Dylan also in this bracket, and I mean, let's say theoretically you move on past your battle, you got a fun 16 there.
Yeah. What's funny is as the years progress, it just ends up being it doesn't matter where you are in the bracket, you're gonna face some everyone's pretty good, man, and it's a good thing. But then you become more and more friends with people, and you're like, well, I don't want to lose to them, well, I know it's just fun, man. It is what it is, and I just take it for face value now. I don't even honestly, I don't really look at the bracket because it's just who's our first battle. Whoever wins the seating, so I don't even know. So you're just like, well, fuck it, let's watch seating, and then you kind of just go from there.
Right.
But dude, all these guys are so good at what they do. It's kind of crazy to see the progression of it for sure. But yeah, man, it's awesome. I'm just glad we're all a part of it.
Hell yeah,
it's insane.
All right, so let's go ahead and check the top right bracket. We got Frederick Osbo up top there, and then you got Derek Madison, Connor Shanahan going out in 32. Uh, that's going to be a tough draw for Derek. Feel bad for him. You know, he has a couple good rounds, and then he gets Connor Shanahan in 32.
Hey, he's got that new motor and stuff and things, so
Is it still going
can't
to
count
sound?
him
All
out.
I care about is does it still sound like
As
a
long
truck?
as it doesn't sound like an Oldsmobile Cutlass, I think we'll be fine. But I think it should sound a little better. But
Yeah, I don't know
we'll
how much
see.
faith I have in that. I'll be
I don't
honest.
have like any, but you know.
But yeah, I mean Connor Shanahan, a guy, he's been an interesting one this year because it's he brings his own car over after leaving an E36. Maybe the E36 wasn't the nicest E36 in the world, but it was still an E36.
He won in
Um,
that E36, and then not to mention he also took a Pro Spec E36
yeah.
to the box, which is still mind blowing.
Yeah, that's cool.
But still, the point still stands, and now he brings the FRS over, and he's not dominating like the first year he came in. I don't know if I would say dominating, but like honestly putting on a show.
Yeah, he's
Where
not like at towards the top consistently.
yeah,
He's had a couple like decent rounds, but he hasn't been. He had an 8 in Long. I'm looking at the points right now. He had an 8 in Long Beach, 16 in Atlanta, 16 in Orlando, 32 in Englishtown. So yeah, not the best of showings this year compared to last year for sure.
right. Yeah, I
Maybe
mean,
he should take the Jay-Z out and put in an E36.
Yeah.
But
don't
that's all
know,
I'm
man.
saying.
It is kind of fun to poke and jab at it, but I'm curious. Do you think Connor Shanahan makes top 10 at the end of the year? I feel like that would be an easy yes, but he's ranked 18th right now.
Yeah, no, but
Oh,
that's how he ended last year. I mean, last round. Yeah, he's what is he here?
He
He can't
is.
be
he's
that down, is
15th
he?
Oh,
overall.
sorry, he's
Oh,
15th.
15th.
Sorry.
15th.
Yeah,
He's
That's still kind of
tied
a tough ask.
I know because
tied
he's
up to
he's got to be
12th.
right now. Ken Gucci's ahead of him. Dylan's ahead of him. Rome, O'Sully, Stuckey, Forsberg. Like I mean, you
I
maybe
think
could guess on a
maybe
couple of these guys dropping, but like a guy like Ryan Turk is right behind him. Like I can't imagine Turk's gonna have too many more bad rounds here. It's just not like him. So like, and you got Jack isn't that far behind either. So I'm just curious. Do you think he makes top 10 by the end of the year? Because I don't think championship's really in the question anymore.
I think he'll get 12th. Going with 12th.
You think 12th? I think he makes top 10.
12th.
Now I'm just looking at the points now. Everyone's got 40 points pretty much, and top 10's got 52. So he's got to win 2 more battles than a lot of these other guys. But I think he'll make top 10. It is interesting. It's just an interesting point to kind of look at halfway through the year, and he's not at all where he was with the E36.
Yeah.
But and I feel like I don't know if I don't think I've talked to him about it, but I know I've heard him talk about like he tried initially setting up the FRS as he does in Drift Masters, and it didn't work.
Huh.
Who
would have guessed that?
So it it would be interesting to talk to him actually about suspension wise what he's had to concoct to try and make it work over here. Because like you said, the tires do so much work over there and whatnot. So another interesting fact. But man, this is an awful bracket. Holy smokes! You got Matt Field and Chris Forsberg. Wow. Yeah. So that's a
That
bracket.
is bracket for sure.
That's a bracket right there.
My
Jeez,
God.
oh Pete. Yeah. All of those 16 battles are gonna be nuts. As usual, but yeah, that's a fun bracket. Probably, in my opinion, maybe the toughest one, but I haven't seen the last one. You got good old Jimmy Dean. You got Simon Olsen, Turk. That'd actually be a pretty good 32 battle. And then you got Odie and Rome. also in this one. This is an interesting one. You got a little bit of everything, but I think this is another tough. I think I would say the right side is a little tougher than the left, but no, that's a fun bracket right there. James Dean, let's see, he's one of the guys that he's second, right? Yes, he's
Yes.
second, so he's kind of the guy that's closest to Osbo. I guess the real question is, if there's a guy that's going to be stopping Osbo this weekend, who is it going to be? Who'd you pick? So obviously, your first shot is theoretically a Derek Madison or Connor Shanahan. Do you see any of those guys taking out Osbo?
I could see Shanahan maybe.
Yeah. Do you think that's more likely, or do you think like a Matt Field or Chris Forsberg would be taking him out?
Shanahan,
Yeah, so you would pick Shanahan
my
over
opinion.
Field
Yeah.
and Forsberg.
Yeah. For this track, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
What
Because,
about
like,
you? What do you think?
My money would be on Matt Field. Honestly, I think he's in a position because he's not fighting really for a championship this year, like just where he is in points. I'm trying to remember where exactly he is. He's 7th, yeah. So I don't know. He's not really in that championship race. So I think he's. I think he can just throw caution away, for the rest of the year at this point. Like he's not trying to win a championship at this point, and so that now means he can just throw everything out there.
Hmm.
Like he doesn't need to hold back because he can't make a mistake. Where
Yeah.
Osbo is, he's trying to obviously win the battle, but he's not going to put himself in a compromising position theoretically, or push it to that 10/10ths in case it like bites him. But
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Carlos? I feel like once you're out of that like championship points race, like you can drive a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting about Matt is I feel like that dude doesn't give a fuck if he was or wasn't in the race. He's still gonna. That guy drives like an animal, and he does not care about what happens to that car. So I think I agree with you. I think, I mean, if Shanahan doesn't stop him, I feel like Matt Field would. Uh, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Historically at this track, Matt hasn't been the best.
Right.
Uh, because of over aggressive tactics. So we'll see. Maybe he's gonna learn from his past mistakes and get it going. He took us out last year, but it wasn't by something that he outdrove us. Dylan kind of made a mistake behind him, and we gave the win to him. So
Yeah.
but yeah, he's a fucking great driver, and he's very aggressive. So, which is something that Osbo is not. Like that is how you beat Osbo. You beat him by being overly aggressive. You just can't let it bite you in the ass. So yeah, if anyone's gonna do it, it's probably gonna be him, but we'll see.
Yeah. Exactly. So we kind of running close here on time. So kind of we kind of ran through everyone. We can run through the sides of the bracket if you want again. But if we can't pick Dylan, who we picking in the finals?
And the finals on the left side.
Yeah.
Let me see. I can't even see that many. Who else is on there? It's well, it would be.
You got LZ, you got TLO, you got Sorensen.
Yeah, I'll say LZ. Just statistically speaking, that makes the most sense. And he's good at this track. The car is good at the track.
Yeah, as
He
long
might,
as
I don't know. He
Yeah.
might have PTSD, but
Well, I heard they don't have that initial wall, right? The first wall, I don't believe.
Yeah,
Right.
they took it
right,
out.
supposedly.
So
But what's also interesting is going to be that at the end now, it ends a lot sooner. So it'll end at the halfway point of that hairpin
what?
turn. Yeah. So what's going to be crazy about that is there's going to be a lot of over aggressive driving coming out of that outer zone 3, and because they're pretty much ending in, you're going to transition into a finish line. So we'll see what fucking happens. But so that'll be good to see.
Yeah, maybe we'll
It'll
see
be
some more
interesting.
cars jumping after the finish line now.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Yeah.
a lot of cars are gonna get pushed into that little triangle pocket that like Dylan murdered 2 years ago, but like because you're gonna be finishing and they're just gonna get thrown into like how Forsberg got thrown a couple years back.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. We'll see. Every year is just something funny and something new, and we just gotta adapt to it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, you got a guy like Manoa, who I think is really dangerous at this track.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
from a technicals perspective, like he might be the guy I'm picking on the left side of the bracket
I'm gonna
because
go with Noah.
yeah, because he's just that calculated. It's one of those
Yeah.
guys where this track specifically will bite you if you're too aggressive, and I feel like he's always managed to be 1 point behind 10 tenths all times.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he does it because he's always on your door, but he doesn't look like he's at risk of messing up or almost losing the car at all, ever. He just looks
Yep.
like he just sits the car next to you like it's easy. He makes it look easy, and that's what's most
Yeah.
impressive about a guy like that. Connor Shannon's also really a person that would do that. He just shows up next to your door, and it doesn't look like it really took him a lot to do that. But so I'm picking Manoa on the left side of the bracket, and then on the right side is honestly, I think the right side's got a lot of heavy hitters. You got Osbo, Shanahan, Field, Forsberg, James Dean, Turk, Odie, Olson, Rome. I mean, I could pick four of these guys to have a good day, probably. Um, Odie, I
I'll
think, is
go.
still looking for a win this
I'll
year.
go Jimmy Dean.
Yeah, you know, I
Going
like
Jimmy
Carlos's
Dean.
take on the Mustangs and saying that this is a hard track for them. So,
He won this
Yeah.
track last year though, so
yeah, well, it's
Ah.
it's not
I don't
uncommon for
know.
him. Okay,
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
That guy could be driving a potato though, no fucking win. But
Yeah. You could take a car in
no,
the
no, but
parking
that's
lot
true.
and win a battle.
yeah. I honestly I like Carlos's take on S chassis, and I'm gonna pick Odie on the right side.
When Odie's on, he's on, man. No one can beat that fucking guy. So yeah, that's a good one. Or dude, you know what's funny is I'm gonna throw my boy Turk out there, dude. 401 works because
You
that
know,
that dude that dude can be very very well dialed in these tracks, and
you're
he's
so
won
right.
there before. So I'm gonna say Turk is my boy, dude. Fuck it, we'll see.
I'm gonna chuck out Jimmy Dean. I'm gonna go Turk too. That's
Yeah,
what I was originally gonna to go, and then for some reason I went Jimmy Dean. But I'm gonna
and Jimmy
go. I'm
Dean.
gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, and
Good old
and
Turk.
Turk's another guy where he's not had the greatest year, and so at this point, what has he got to lose, right? It's
He needs the
Exactly.
win, just like last year in Seattle. Like it just came out of nowhere because he needed it. It's
mm-hmm.
like you need that fucking
Yeah.
win, man. So we'll see. We'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
no, it'll be exciting. I'm curious. Like I said, it's one of those events where it's miserable to be at for the most part. It's it's just one of those where it always goes super late. Like we're always at the track till like 1 in the morning. It seems every time, but it does bring some pretty exciting in terms of the carnage, and you really don't know who's gonna win at this track because the, like that last corner is just so unpredictable, and so we'll see how it goes. You got any final thoughts on St. Louis yourself, Carlos, or the team, or like how's the team feeling, how's the car doing? Like I know you guys made some changes to it, so
Yeah. So the throttle body is the biggest thing. Yeah, we went away from the E throttle. We had some issues, and we can't have them again. So we went to a cable throttle. But yeah, no. If we have a car that works, like that's my biggest thing is you just need a car that fucking works. So I wasn't able to get that to Dylan last round. So this round, hopefully everything just goes the way it needs to, and he's able to drive. But as far as the team's concerned, I mean it's literally just Bogo and I that work on the car, and I like it that way. It works out well, and he seems fine. We fly out to Grid Life the following week,
okay.
and he's doing Falcon stuff, and I'm doing Falcon stuff. But yeah, I mean it's a packed week. We'll be together for quite some time, and we drive together well. So I think team wise we'll be okay. The heat's gonna suck, but it always does, and everyone's dealing with it the same way. So it is, man. I mean, St. Louis fucking blows. Everyone knows it, but the track itself, like you said, brings out good carnage in the cars and good battles. So we can always look back at it, and you never remember the heat. You just can you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh,
you're there.
oh,
You're good.
yeah. Okay. you never remember the heat. You just remember what happens. So it is what it is, man.
Right,
I'm excited.
exactly.
Are you guys? Are you guys both coming out there, or
Oh
just
yeah,
you, Nate, or what's?
yeah, yeah,
All
Yep.
right, cool,
yeah.
nice.
Brandon's got to teach some people how to drive. You know,
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
We're gonna figure that out.
how
I
how do,
hope
how to
God,
make a 370Z go fast? How do you do that?
it's
That's
impossible.
tough. That's
Yeah.
tough.
Then we got Mustang guy over there too. We
Oh
gotta
yeah.
figure out that car. So
Ah.
that's a little it has its issues too, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm excited. It's my first St. Louis, so I'm not
Ah, dude.
expectations are extremely low, but
Yeah.
not from driving wise, just venue wise, but hopefully they'll
I think the spotters tower is nice
you
though.
know.
Yeah,
Is
you'll
it?
be okay. Sparta style. I mean, it's air conditioned. Well, a lot of people stand on the roof if you can, just because it's better to
There we
see.
go.
But you're not gonna be want to be. You're not gonna want to be up there when it's fucking 100 degrees outside.
Yeah, it's true.
Uh, but
But
it is a good place to spot for sure because you can see the whole thing, which is awesome, and you're really
Oh,
high up.
nice.
So your job will be easy. Hopefully, we'll
There we
see.
go. Hopefully.
yeah, well, it's gonna be a
Uh,
busy weekend, that's for sure. I got some more work from the weekend, so as per usual, the job usually expand work as the year goes on, every
yeah.
year. But it'll be another good one. Obviously, we'll have Herbie out. Currently traveling, so I know he's excited.
Ah,
He's got a
okay.
new gig that he's doing after St.
Ah,
Louis, new day job. So I know he's pretty pumped about that. Um,
nice.
yeah, and yeah, we also got Rob out there too. But yeah, it's gonna be a good time. It's always the toughest track from a live stream perspective because in the past I've had issues with service at some of the shooting
Mm,
locations. So we'll see kind of how that goes. We're gonna just have to play it by ear and see how that goes. It's every year's it's always the hardest track, but other than that, it's always a good time. I'll be happy to see everyone out there, and uh, it is interesting because they have you guys pitted light years away from everything else. So it's always a
yeah.
weird situation when like you want to get to one part of the track and then you have to go like backwards and like there's just no easy way to get anywhere. Honestly,
Yeah,
at
it's sucks. Yeah, it's funny because you guys deal with it and we deal with it in a different way because the rounds where the hot pits aren't at your trailer, now you got to pack a bunch of shit and take it
yep,
over there and bring it back because it's pro spec and it's got its own set of bullshit. But at the same time, it is nice to be apart from everyone. You're just focused on what you have to do. So and
right. All right,
just gotta look at the bright side, you know.
and the little garages aren't that they're nice. Like they're nice to
Yeah.
have a car in and all that kind of stuff. But it's like,
That wasn't
like
always the case. They used to not because we didn't all fit, so they would like not let you do it. It was like first come first serve, and then
oh
Dean Carney's guys like fucked it all up for everybody. So one year they didn't let anybody be in the garages, but now I think they're slowly letting us again, which is nice because yeah, you need the shade, man. That
yeah.
place sucks. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, again, thank you, buddy
Yeah.
Carlos, for coming on. It
Thank you guys, man. This is
yeah,
awesome.
it's fun, getting some inside perspective on kind of what you kind of see throughout the paddock and the cars, and obviously chassis setup and all that kind of stuff. Um, even though it's St. Louis, I'm still excited to go see everyone. It's always my favorite. My favorite time is always at FD because I get to see all my friends and hang out
Yeah.
with everyone. And even though I'm usually working all of it, but still, it's good to catch up with everyone and see what they're all doing. And like I said, St. Louis always brings out the carnage.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we'll see. But again, thank you everyone for checking out the stream.
Cool.
If you liked it, be sure to give it a like, maybe a share. It's always appreciated. Go check out Brandon at Boundless Racing. If you have a spare $50,000, just burning a hole in your
Whoa.
pocket.
Whoa. 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 We don't start that high. Chill out. I wish we did. Man, I'd be a lot richer if that happened. Fuck.
Yeah, no, but you're building some cool stuff though. So
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm trying my best.
awesome.
Doing cool things.
Hell yeah, dude. All right, guys, we're gonna probably end the stream off here. Thank